7 years is a long time to love someone, and that was exactly how long Daniel and Emily were together. 7 years that began with laughter, shared dreams, and the kind of connection that makes two people believe they found something rare and unbreakable. They met when life still felt open and full of possibilities, when the future was something to talk about late at night without fear. Daniel was ambitious and practical. Emily was emotional and creative, and at first their differences felt like balance, not distance. The first years were light and effortless. They traveled when they could, built routines together, talked about marriage as something obvious but not urgent. Time felt endless and forgiving, but slowly, without either of them noticing at first, real life began to change the rhythm of their relationship. Daniel's work started taking more of him. Longer hours, more pressure, more nights when his body was home but his mind was somewhere else. Emily supported him because she believed in him, because she loved him, and because she told herself it was temporary, that once things settled, they would find each other again. But things never really settled, and while Daniel was focused on building a future, Emily was living in the present, craving connection, attention, and emotional closeness. She wanted to feel chosen every day, not just assumed. She tried to talk about it gently at first, then more directly, saying she missed him even when he was right there. Daniel listened but didn't fully understand. In his mind, he was doing what a good partner does, providing stability, working hard, sacrificing for what they would have one day. He thought love was shown through responsibility. Emily felt love through presence and emotional safety. Neither of them was wrong, but they were no longer speaking the same language. By the 5th year, the cracks were impossible to ignore. Arguments became quieter but heavier, less about specific problems and more about a constant feeling of being misunderstood. They stayed together because 7 years creates roots that are painful to pull out, because their apartment was full of shared memories, because leaving meant admitting that love alone hadn't been enough. They told themselves it was just a phase, that all long relationships go through this, until one evening when Emily finally said the words that had been growing inside her for a long time. She told Daniel she didn't feel like herself anymore, that she felt lonely even when they were together, that loving him had slowly made her smaller. Daniel tried to fix it, to ask what he could change, what the solution was, but Emily wasn't looking for solutions anymore. She was explaining a loss, the loss of herself inside the relationship. And when she said she still loved him, but didn't know if love was enough, something in Daniel broke. He realized too late that while he had been planning for tomorrow, Emily had been waiting for him today. They cried together that night, not out of anger but out of grief. The breakup didn't happen all at once. It stretched over days and weeks filled with silence, long talks, moments of hope that faded just as quickly, until they both understood that staying together out of history would only turn love into resentment. The day Emily moved out, Daniel watched her carry 7 years of life out the door in boxes, and when it closed behind her, the apartment felt unbearably quiet. He felt regret not because he didn't love her, but because he hadn't loved her in the way she needed. Emily felt pain too, mourning the future she once imagined, but she also felt relief. Like choosing herself didn't mean she had failed. 7 years ended not with betrayal or hatred, but with the realization that two people can love each other deeply and still grow apart. And sometimes the hardest breakups aren't loud or dramatic. They're quiet, where no one is the villain, where love exists but no longer fits, and where a goodbye becomes the lesson that teaches you what love truly needs to survive.